Okay, let's begin. Good morning, guys. Okay, so far we looked into multiple things, right? So we got into introduction of widgets. We have seen some basic widgets like container, adding text, rows, columns, adding images, buttons, dialogues, blah blah blah. Okay, and then we have seen the UI breakdown also. And for the introduction to widgets, these are the widgets we have actually covered. Okay, so I think you guys are comfortable with list view and grid view, right? Yes or no? Yep. Okay, so okay, before moving into dialogues or app bar and button, okay, so let me give you some insight about list view and grid view. Okay, so what happened is I like if you take some companies which are really successful, okay, like if you take Facebook, if you take Pinterest, Google, there are so many companies, right? If you, especially if you take the startup companies, if you take this startup companies, what they will actually do is they will create so many layouts for their applications. Okay, so whatever application they are going to come up with, they will come up with like maybe 100 different ways of representing the data. Okay, so if you take Pinterest, they will have they like when they are actually developing their product, they will be actually developing maybe like 100 user interfaces for Pinterest. Okay, but you really don't have to do that many. uh, why I'm saying this is it's that important to know about grid view and list view. So whenever you are developing your app, wherever possible, try to use list view and grid view. Okay, so try to make as many user interfaces as possible so that like today one user interface will be fine. Tomorrow you might need a different user interface. Okay, so you can actually copy paste code from other projects. So design multiple UIs, like come up with 5 different user interfaces, 10 new user interfaces if possible. If you are having, if your multiple guys are working, each guy develop like 5 interfaces. So you'll have 20 to 30 user interfaces. Okay, so it's all about representing data in different ways. Okay, user interface means UI means it's a representation of data in a various ways. Okay, so that's why these two things are very important. These things are important. Okay, so these things are actually used inside the list view. Okay, inside the grid view you'll use this stuff. Even though you have list tile or grid tile, to an extent you can actually use it. When if you take Facebook app, they're not actually using list tile. They might be using custom like custom interface. Okay, so within list view we have seen that you can give text, container, whatever. They might be actually using a container. Inside that they have added so many things. Okay, there is something which is interesting, cards. Okay, so card, this is something which you can try. Okay, instead of using container you can actually try using card also. Okay, like if you add cards into list view, that might add some more things, like that will actually benefit you from adding multiple things. Maybe it by default it will give some sort of padding. Okay, which you'll not get using a container. Okay, so these things you can actually explore. There are a number of things you can actually explore from this point of, from this point onwards. There are a number of things you can actually explore. Okay, but because like those who might be having still might having some trouble in understanding widgets, I want to cover these topics also, and then we'll actually look into Adobe XD. Okay, so Adobe XD, I'll not give any introduction about this now, but later we'll see. Maybe after covering these two stuff, which will take probably 1 or 2 classes. Maybe today we'll try to finish this, and then tomorrow, if possible, tomorrow, day after tomorrow, we will look into Adobe XD, and then you guys will actually start doing some user interfaces. Okay, so the terminology used is UI challenges. Okay, so UI challenges. So you guys will be actually doing some user interfaces challenges. Okay, yeah, you will just go to Google, or you will take an app in your mobile phone and try to mimic that same user interface, or you can mix one or two more user interfaces. That is what we do here. In order to make sure that like how these things work, what we will do is we will divide ourselves into two teams. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll actually divide ourselves into couple of teams, and then each and every guy will create their own version of what each team is doing, and then we'll see how each guy has done it, how differently he has done it. Okay, we'll share code across. We'll use GitHub to share the code. Okay, GitHub. And if you want to try something different than GitHub, you can actually try and share the code also. Like that, we'll actually know, okay, so there are other things like GitHub also. Okay, one of the thing is Bitbucket. Okay, so don't worry about this stuff. This is the part we do when we are actually sharing the code. And then we'll go to the next topics. Okay, so part 2 of our stuff. So how to debug apps, we'll also try to cover it. Okay, we have actually covered multiple stuff while actually doing other sessions. Anyways, I will do it separately also. Okay, so dialogues, right? So before doing dialogues, what I will do is I will cover the app bar and bottom bar and then come to dialogues. Okay, so whenever you are actually trying out something, what you should do, you should clear the main.dat file. So what is the first thing you are going to write on your main.dat file? Okay, stateless widget. Okay, so start with stateless widget. So for example, why I am so specific about this is, probably when you are writing your programs in your labs, or you're copying some programs from someone else, you'll always start with import, right? You don't know where that import is actually used. Okay, in addition to that, that will add to the size of the app. Not only import statements. For example, just imagine I have added some images which I'm not at all using in our app. Okay, that will also add to the size of the app. Okay, any file, like I'm not sure if you add some file to Android folder, it will add to the size, but images, because you have given that in the assets, it will add to the size. Okay, so if you are really concerned about the size of your app, these are the things which you should take care of. Okay, size means like size and performance, I can say. Okay, so you don't want to load unnecessary things, right? When you are importing something, that will add to the memory also. Okay, so in order to actually give some performance to your app, everything will be loaded into memory. When the guy is actually using your app, all the import statements, whatever files that were being used, that will be loaded into memory also. Okay, that's not your concern, but keep in mind that size of the app implies to the performance of the app also. Okay, but there will be code bugs also which will be impacting your performance. As you code for more days, you will actually understand, okay, so instead of doing 100 loops here, I can do 10 loops and get the answer. I can actually break that loop, okay, in order to give better performance. These kind of things you will get into. Okay, so I'm going with stateless widget. So stateless, I'm not using stateful widget, I'm using stateless widget because we have to use more stateless widget. Okay, and then we have to resolve these issues. They are red squiggly lines, blue squiggly lines. Okay, red squiggly lines are for errors, blue squiggly lines are suggestions. Okay, if I go here and check it, okay, so it is telling that import this, but that's okay. If I actually fix this, okay, it actually got fixed. So I don't have to worry about blue lines much, but blue lines give you good suggestions to improve your coding, like coding standards. Okay, and then what we have to do, we have to add void main of, and then run app of. Okay, and one more thing I wanted to share is like coding is always case sensitive. Okay, case sensitive means if I change this to my app, you can see that this has thrown the error, even though both have same meaning in English. okay, it has got a case sensitivity issue. Okay, so not only this, I think we can check this if it works or not. It doesn't work, okay, because this is case sensitive. That's where we have to depend on code completions. Okay, okay, so this code completions feature is called IntelliSense in Visual Studio World. In Android Studio they might be calling it something else. Okay, in Visual Studio like Microsoft World, they are called, it is called IntelliSense. Okay, so now, so in order to add an app bar, what we need to have? Answers, guys. So where we have seen that adding app bar? Pardon me? Yeah, okay, scaffold. Okay, somebody said scaffold. So in order to add scaffold, what we do need? No. In order to add scaffold, like we are going in reverse direction, we need a material app. Excellent. Okay. So, but first of all, let me I know I am interested in checking whether I can actually add scaffold without material app also. But this is something I never tried. Let me see scaffold. So it actually worked. Okay. But see, like we'll understand what is the benefit of material app like this. Okay. And I will add an, let me add a body with container first of all. Okay, and with child text of. Okay, and then giving hello world. Okay, so I just want to run it and see what will happen. I never tried this. Okay, so let it load. So you know, right? So in Flutter, once we load the app, we can actually use these buttons to deploy changes, right? So these features are called hot reload and hot restart. Okay, hot reload and restart, hot restart also. Okay, but hot reload is the term that is popularly used. Okay, so you can see there is something. Okay, they like some error has come up. Okay, so it is saying media query of blah blah blah. So I think probably like in order to use scaffold without material app, you might need to provide more information. Media query of called with the context. So at this point, this doesn't act, this error doesn't make much sense to us. Okay, this can happen because you do not have a widgets app or material app. Okay, those widget introduce a media query. See, yesterday somebody was asking, do you have something alternative for material app, right? I think we can actually try using widgets app also, but material app is the popular thing which is used. Probably these two things are inherited from the same class. This error might be showing. It is saying that widgets app is something you can use or material app is something we can use, because I said like material app is a standard way of developing apps. Like you'll get those styles by default. Okay, so I will be using material app also, material app, but not widgets app. Okay, so you can actually try this. Okay, so just keep in mind. Okay, so how I'll add material app is I'm just going to click this bulb, wrap in a widget. Wrapping means I told, right? It's like a burger or some roll. Okay, material app, and then you can see it immediately has thrown error. You can see the code section, which one, where the widgets are taken. It is the home. Okay, now at this point you actually have the app. Let me move the text to the center. Okay, let's see if I can move this to center using this. Okay, it has moved also. I can do like this, or I can actually click here and move to center. Okay, so both cases the effect is same. Okay, so and one more thing I would like to share is you'll see number of options like this. Okay, number of options in IDE you'll see number of options. Don't worry about them. You can actually explore them yourself. Okay, one of the thing I would like to show is this Flutter. Okay, Flutter option. If you're not seeing it, no problem. You might be missing some plugin or something like that. You can actually figure it out later. Okay, see, it shows the widget tree, like widget tree flow and everything. Okay, you can explore it yourself. We'll do it, like we'll be not covering that. You can actually try to understand these things by all by yourself. Okay, so now, okay, so we need to add app bar to scaffold. Okay, so, and guys, if you're not able to realize where you need to add app bar for like where you need to add app bar, what you can do is you can just go to Google. Okay, this is how you search in Google. Okay, you guys already know how to search in Google for sure, but for Flutter, how we are going to search? Okay, you might be thinking I can search like this, Flutter app bar. Okay, so it will give lots of stuff. Okay, lots of stuff, but in our case it has given the right thing. But what my suggestion is, you can search with Flutter API. Okay, so Flutter API will actually take you to the Flutter documentation. Okay, so maybe give space, blah blah blah, no problem. Okay, so it actually take you to the classes documentation. Okay, so and then you can see that where this app bar will go and all that stuff. So there will be an immediate examples, number of examples will be there, man. Okay, number of examples will be there, you can actually try them. So instead of actually worrying about coding all this stuff, I can just simply copy paste this code and get it up and running. Okay, and I said, right, this is the Dartpad. Okay, so I can just go to dartpad.dev. I can actually copy all this code. I can just click this button to copy all this code, and then I can delete all this stuff, copy paste it, run it to see the example. Okay, so why it's important to run the examples and see the code? Because like at some point in your future you will be actually connecting all these dots. Okay, as you'll understand that, okay, adding this kind of button is possible, adding this kind of menu is possible. Okay, adding this kind of title is possible, showing some message like this is possible. Okay, so you'll understand all this stuff, and then whenever you want to use it, you'll go again, search in Google. Okay, I am using Bing here. Okay, you can actually search in Google or your favorite engine, and then you can try these examples, copy paste that into your code, and then do it. Okay, so why I am repeating these things is like you really don't have to think like think back. Okay, what sir told in class, he told me something. You don't have to go to video back and check it. You don't have to do this. Like if I keep on repeating it, you will actually get that into your practice. Not only Flutter, for everything you can search something like this. Okay, maybe Python some string like that you will search. Maybe if in Python, like Python API is also maybe there, Python API. It might actually lead to take to your documentation, Python documentation. Okay, but API in Flutter will give API. Maybe in Python you have to give something else also. Okay, it depends on what is the, like what are the keywords they have used in their documentation. Okay, I'm minimizing this. I'm not going to copy paste it. So I know that I need to add app bar to scaffold, app bar. So if I hover my mouse, it says that preferred size widget. Okay, so and I will see what is the preferred size widget. I go to the definition, and preferred size widget is like app bar is declared as a preferred size widget. I'll go to definition. It's an abstract class. Abstract class cannot be instantiated. Yesterday we have seen a case where like it looks like an abstract class has been instantiated, but actually in order to those kind of stuff, there is something you have to look into. Okay, design patterns. Okay, design patterns means like as you develop more stuff, okay, and then when you are working as teams, right, what will happen is you, like for example, there are two guys who are working in a project. Okay, and one guy wants to write a class, has written a class, and you know that classes can be instantiated. And for example, if you come across a case like, I don't want this class to be instantiated anywhere. Okay, I want this class to be instantiated only in one place, and nobody should ever instantiate again. Okay, in such cases what we have to follow is design patterns. Okay, design patterns will be like will be a very early subject for you guys, at least in my case. Okay, when I'm studying engineering, like I have never come across such terminologies. Maybe I was not concentrated too much on the academics at that time. Okay, so that's probably teachers are teaching it, we might never realize what they're teaching because we don't know them. Okay, we don't have such that foundation to understand it. So in order to understand what is design terms, you can actually start looking into more videos. That's where, like, when you are actually coding some projects, you'll come across such scenarios, and those things are covered in design patterns. Design patterns are like the problem, like when you have a problem, this is how you solve the solution. So there are so many patterns available. Okay, so many cases were covered in this design pattern. In your case, like in one's case, one can learn probably 5 or 6. Okay, but there will be so many design patterns, you don't have to bother about it. So the case what we have seen yesterday is probably related to design pattern. Okay, so I can't use it. So what I will do is I will just go here, go to peak implementations, and I will see what are the implementations available. So since I want app bar, I can see app bar is there. Okay, app bar is a class, I can instantiate it. So what I will do is I will just give app bar. Okay, see, if you want to try using something else, you can actually try also, guys. Okay, so preferred size widget is used by tabs also, right? Okay, so I can I could try using tabs or like app bar, I know, right? So this is an abstract class. Nav bar, like Cupertino widget. See, like material is for Android apps, Cupertino is for iOS apps. But material design, like whatever app you design using material design, that will probably work with iOS also. But we really don't have MacBooks, right? That is something what we cannot try now. Okay, so Cupertino is a terminology used for iOS apps. Material is a terminology used for Android apps, but that doesn't mean that you have to use Cupertino for all the apps. Okay, you can still use material and it would work like normal. Okay, so app bar and tab bar are something which I could try, and these are the couple of other things we could try also. But since we know that app bar is very much near to what we could try, we will go with app bar off. Okay, so immediately it will show the suggestions. Yesterday I showed, right? If you are using app, like how to modify these classes also I have shown, right? So that is something like beyond this course. Okay, beyond this course, this is like my intention was like how by adding a required feature here that will actually help with code population. I have shown that. Okay, you can actually go to the previous class and check it again. So what I could do is I am just going control space bar and I could see number of options. Okay, so title is something very common which we will look into. Title, okay, and then something like leading. Okay, title spacing, like some other things we might not be using. Okay, primary sounds like we can actually explore these things later. Okay, so title is something which I could give. So I am giving. So let me run this without title and see what will happen. So the app bar is added, and then I can give title take widget. Okay, I can actually pass an image also probably, but text is something that is popularly used for title, and then give app bar example. Okay, and then what is the next thing we could do? We can actually leading. So leading means probably something, leading means front. Okay, what it will take, it will take a widget. I can actually give anything, but let me give a Flutter logo. Okay, so in order to save time, I'm using Flutter logo. So Flutter logo has appeared here. Okay, so can I change the color of app bar? So background color, colors dot, let me give, okay, something like this. So you can see that app bar color has changed. Okay, see, in Flutter we don't play with colors much. Okay, so instead of declaring colors in particular places, we will actually declare colors in the at the root, at the top of everything, so that colors will be consistent across the app. Okay, so if you are from web background, you guys know, right? Playing, like making everything like to have that sync of colors is very difficult. In Flutter it makes very easy. As you can see, this will come in blue. If I add something at the bottom, that will come in blue. Okay, so this there is something like default theme. Okay, if you take my app which I have shown from Play Store, that uses a different theme which is black. So I will declare it in one place and colors will be followed next. Okay, I really not worried about colors. Okay, so but in order to make it, like, make this logo visible, this is something what I could try. Okay, and see what else I could add. Okay, so something like actions. Okay, so actions take that list of widgets. So whenever you see this kind of brackets, square brackets, it means that you can actually pass list of widgets. So if you generally see many screens, you will see some icons over here, right? So let me add some icons. Icons dot home. Okay, you can see the home appeared here. Icons dot school. Okay, so two icons have appeared here. Okay, so icon dot message. So you can see three icons got appeared, but the catch here is they're not looking good. Okay, so one of the quick resolution I have is, what are the other icons options I am having? Okay, I can just icon button I could try. Okay, so let me try icon button. Okay, so see, let's see, let me comment this code now. Like, let me see if I could be able to explain why we should use icon button. If I'm checking whether is there any way I could add on pressed for this icon. There is no on pressed. So in order to make this icon clickable, I might have to wrap it inside another things. Okay, like other widgets. Okay, so like adding an icon is not a good idea. So I'm going to remove this. So icon button already have on pressed. So this is something which is a good idea to use. So let it be null. Okay, we'll leave it. We'll just add icon dot school. Sorry. So I'll add more icons. Okay, you can see now icons are spaced really good, right? Home, message. So the icons are really placed good. So what else I could add? Okay, so usually at the end we'll see some three dots, right? Three dots icon. Okay, so usually that is used for a menu option, right? Like let's try adding that menu option here. Okay, give me a second, guys. Okay, so for that what I could do is, there is something like, see, these are icon buttons. I can just click them and make some code run, but not some options to show. For that we have something called pop-up menu. Okay, so pop-up menu button, and you can see that it is taking item builder. So when I hover this mouse, you can see it takes list of pop-up menu entries and a function build context of. Okay, see, this build context terminology might be difficult to understand. What is this build context? Okay, so what is this dynamic? Don't bother much about them now. Okay, so when they are asking build context, you can observe that here actually we are passing the build context. Just go ahead and pass it. Okay, so how we pass it is, this is how we can actually write a function, right? So I will just add build context over here, and then you can see that the build context is passed from here to here. So that's about, see, these things about passing build context, it's about helping the Flutter framework to understand that, okay, I know what is the context. Okay, we are actually passing the build context. The whole context of app will be passed. But in order to understand deeply, I recommend you guys to go search and try to learn yourself. Okay, so I passed the context, and then now the blue squiggly line says that return something. Okay, so return type of pop-up menu item. So what I could do is return some items. What is the items it is saying? List of pop-up menu entry. I will just copy paste it. I will place here. I'll comment it so that I can actually use it. Give me a second, guys. Let me close the door. Okay, so let me try to add a pop-up menu entry. Okay, no. So here, okay, sorry guys. So now what we have to return is, we have to return list of pop-up menu entry. List means we have to give this brackets. Okay, so and then we can actually pass list of widgets from here to this item builder. So but it takes pop-up menu entry. So let me see if I could give pop-up menu entry, but there is an red squiggly line. Let's see what is the error. Okay, it doesn't have any recommendations also. It means that probably it's an abstract class. Abstract classes cannot be instantiated. Okay, so go to implementation, and you can see that, okay, sorry, go to definition, and then see who has implemented it. Pop-up menu divider, pop-up menu item, pop-up menu, checker pop-up menu item. Okay, so these three things we will explore now. See, guys who are thinking that, okay, this is too complicated. Okay, so don't worry about it, because there is only one way you can add the pop-up menu item. There are not like 10 ways you can add, like 20 ways, or there are no hidden ways. If I am able to return this 3 items successfully, that's it, done. So in all your apps you will be using the same code. Okay, so what I could be using, so I can go to implementation and see this pop-up menu item something I could use. So what I will do is, not the pop-up menu entry, pop-up menu item. Okay, and then I can give something like, so usually we will add some text over here, right? So text of item 1. Okay, let me click here and see what will happen. So you can see item 1 is appearing. Likewise, I can actually add multiple items. Clear, guys? Okay, and interesting thing here is, if I give this, there are other things also, right? If I go to implementations, pop-up menu divider also I can give. So if I give pop-up menu divider, okay, you might be like, you can see that there is an error generated. Okay, so the error says something. Okay, what exactly it is saying is you are actually returning some items, okay, some list of items, but you're actually trying to add something different than that. Like, I could rather add only pop-up menu divider or pop-up menu item or the other type, but not mix of it. So in order to resolve this issue, what we could do is we could comment this and add everything to a list. Okay, give me a second, guys. Okay, sorry. Okay, so let's not declare that list. What you could do is inside pop-up menu item, you can actually give that pop-up menu divider. Okay, now let's see how it works. Okay, you can see that there is a gap here. If I want to try the other item, which is checked pop-up menu item, okay, create same stuff. So check, like, you can actually give a child which will have some text, checked item, and then let's see how it works now. So you can see items are populating. Like, if you observe carefully, there is a small line drawn here actually for divider. Okay, you will be able to see when you are actually doing it. And then I can, if I want to, like, what it means is, you can see there is some space added, right? Let's see what I could add there. So it says checked, enabled, blah blah blah. Okay, I can give checked is equal to true. Okay, you can see an icon is also appearing here. So this is like a full app bar. Okay, so now we have almost looked into everything. Okay, you can actually try other things also. Okay, so now we'll stop with app bar. I will leave other options for you to try. So bottom opacity, brightness also you can increase. Say center tile, there is something like center tile, like what it takes, it takes bool means true or false. Okay, in programming world, bool means true or false. Okay, so I think it actually moved bit. Okay, that's okay. You can actually try all those options. I will leave those things to you. So for now this is fine. Okay, so because we are mostly looking into basics, right? Okay, so the next thing is, okay, let's move to the next topic. The next topic is bottom bar. Okay, guys, is it fine if we expand this class beyond 9:30? Okay, okay. So the like, if you can't continue, like, anyways, you'll have that recording, right? So just go ahead and watch it. Okay, so the app bar is done now. So now the thing is, we are going to look into bottom bar. So I'm going to look into what are the suggestions I have with scaffold. So I'm just looking for the suggestions. Okay, bottom navigation bar is something. Okay, bottom sheet. Okay, like okay, those are the two things. These things you can actually try yourself. Dryer, end dryer. Okay, so dryer means it will add three, like burger icon. Okay, burger icon means there will be three horizontal lines. Okay, that will be added over here. End dryer means there will be three burger icons, like three horizontal lines, burger icon on the right side of the screen. Okay, so end dryer. So these things you can actually, floating action button, you probably might have already, like you probably might have already known about this, right? Like the button icon that appears in the default app. Okay, guys, are you following me? Like, are you able to follow at least? Okay, so app bar is done. Now we are going to look into bottom, like bottom bar. So in bottom bar, the one which has bar is bottom navigation bar. Okay, bottom sheet doesn't have a bar. Okay, so let's go with bottom navigation bar. You can actually try what is this bottom sheet also. I'll go with bottom navigation bar. And then what bottom navigation bar takes is a widget. Okay, see, when it says it's a widget, I can add anything. Okay, so but we have to apply our common sense what we need to add. Okay, so let me see if I can add a container. Okay, I have added a container. Make it like a colors dot red. Okay, oh, okay, see, even though it says bottom navigation bar, when I change the color of a container, everything has occupied. So in order to make sure that this container doesn't occupy the whole screen, what I should be adding here? What property do you think I should be adding? So here are the suggestions. Okay, is it width, height, margin, padding? Okay, any idea, guys? So let me see if I could give height, because width doesn't make sense. Width means anyways the container is occupying the whole screen, which means that width is already full. So maybe I should try to restrict height. So let me do one thing. I'll give maybe 500. You can see that the container has came down now. So let me give 300. It has come some more bottom. Okay, let me give 100. Okay, so you guys get it right? What is the bottom navigation bar means? So it has taken this as the origin and put container everywhere. But container is not something you could use. When you want to develop a custom bottom navigation bar, this is something you could do. Okay, why I am showing this is because it says I take widget. This is something you could actually do. Okay, but do we have something like bottom navigation bar? What I could do is I can just right click here, go to definition. It takes widget. Okay, so probably like, okay, so it takes widget. It doesn't make much sense. What I will do is I will just see if there is any codon session. I will just type bottom and then see what are the options I have got. So we have something like bottom app bar. So let's see what this will do. Okay, nothing has shown up. Okay, so let me try bottom again and then see what are the other things. So luckily we have something called bottom navigational bar itself. Okay, so I will be selecting this. See, the reason why this accepts widget is because it will provide you a custom way of doing it. Custom means doing it in own way, in your own terms. For example, bottom navigation bar will not have so many things to offer out of the box. Okay, that's why we actually have to see what it can like if you are using bottom navigation bar, you are limited to features what bottom navigation bar has to offer. If you want to go in a custom way, you actually want to go with other way, like adding a container, adding a card, blah blah blah. If you see, like you in many apps, bottom navigation bar is enough. If you are going for advanced apps, you actually have to do it a custom way. Okay, give me a second, guys. So okay, so within bottom navigation bar is accepting items. What items it is accepting? List of bottom navigation bar items. So what I will do, so how I could pass a list to items? Guys, give me an answer, like just send the message. How I could pass the list of the items? What type of brackets we have to use? So we have to use square brackets. Okay, and then I have to give some list of items. I'm just copying, like I'm just commenting it out there so that I can actually use this. So I'm just copying it and see what it has to offer. Okay, so I have just given initializing this class, and then I'm just checking the code section. It is saying add argument icon. Okay, so I'm going to add icon of icons dot home. Okay, we'll have home, right, first icon, and I saved it. Okay, it says that some error has come up. What it is saying is items length greater than equal to 2 is not true. So it is suggesting that there should be more items. You can't have only one item. Okay, let's see if 2 items are sufficient. No, it's not sufficient. Okay, wait, it is showing a different message now. So let me add one more item. It is showing that every item must have a non-null title. Non-null title means, let's see whether this takes title or not. Okay, it takes title. It is asking for title. So in order to make this automatically recommendable, we can actually go to this class and change that as required, so that you can actually contribute to the Google documentation. Okay, see guys, most of, like, I would like to add something over here actually. So most of you guys will be participating in hackathons like that, right? What I personally feel is, instead of going to those hackathons where you will be actually coding lot of stuff and sharing that code with those companies, where actually they're trying to populate their code base. Okay, it might be not that much useful in my view. Okay, like if you take sites like Hacker Earth, there are a number of sites where they will give some code challenges, where I personally think that they will actually challenge you, but you will be spending a lot of time doing some complicated stuff where that will not add much value to your programming thing. Maybe once you have done some small projects where you really want to take challenges, then you can go. Otherwise, during beginning stages, let's not go for it. Okay, and compared to hackathons, adding some value to Google, like Flutter SDK, might add more value to your profile. Okay, you can't mention that, like actually you can add to your resume that I am a hackathon winner. If you're not winning, there is no way you're going to get recommendation, and you are going to spend lot of time for actually winning it, right? Instead, if you are a contributor of Flutter SDK, and if you add that to your resume, oh, you are a contributor to Flutter SDK, which is not, like, maybe from India there will be like maybe not more than 100 contributors, even like not 100 also, you can't, like, there will be like maybe 10. Okay, we really don't know there, but the number is very less. But if you go to hackathons, there will be so much of competition. Okay, you don't have to go to hackathons, you don't have to take those challenges. Rather, these things like adding to Google documentation, Flutter documentation, not documentation exactly, to the SDK itself will add lots of value. Okay, from yesterday onwards we have seen lot of things like how we can improve the code suggestions, right? Okay, but you might not be getting it, but keep doing it, and then you will actually understand. Rather than me showing this error, if I add required to this class, okay, if I go here and add something like @required, Google will definitely accept the change, because you are actually avoiding this error on the screen. Okay, and most of the times people will not go through this error. They will just copy paste it and search in Google. They will not read it, spend hours of hours in order to get help. Okay, so this is how you can add to the community. Okay, but still, if you want to go to hackathons, you can actually go and try your luck there, but you are actually contributing to that company's code base. Okay, and it will add very little value unless and until you are actually going to win it. Okay, so title. See, why I'm sharing this is multiple people has asked me, I am actually participating in TCS hackathon, blah blah. No, like when you actually enter into IT jobs, TCS, Wipro, Infosys, all these companies are nowhere. Okay, there are very exciting companies. So if I say, I sometime back I shared Bitbucket, right? That is owned by Altizen. Like landing yourself there uh, will be very difficult. Like you need to improve yourself a lot. Okay, Google, Facebook, Google, Facebook, they come to campuses. Okay, so Altizen, there are Adobe. Okay, there are number of companies like this. If you take banks also offer jobs like Barclays, Royal Bank of Scotland. Okay, like there are number of big companies. Okay, probably you'll be going to interviews and saying that Wipro is my dream company, Infosys is my dream company. They are actually offering you a very less package. Okay, may like very less package. They probably offer like five, not more than 5 lakhs also. But if you have these things in your resume, you can actually demand them. Okay, 10 lakhs, 15 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 30 lakhs. Okay, there is no end for it, because uh, programmers are the guys who deserve more pay. Okay, so if you are landing yourself in Wipro, Infosys, trust me guys, that's not an achievement. You are selling yourself very cheap. Okay, okay, that's it. Okay, so if you're actually contributing to the SDK and adding that to your resume, you can actually demand more salary. Okay, that's it. So let me resolve this title issue now. Okay, so home. Okay, so this is resolved. Let me add one more title here. Let me add school. Okay, so luckily it is accepting 3 icons. Okay, so now let me add one more also. This time I will give message. So now you can see, right, there are 3 options which are added. Okay, and then we have added an menu item here and an app bar and an icon and some options over here. So I think this concludes bottom navigation bar, and there are one more beautiful thing you can actually do. Okay, I will leave that to leave that as a challenge to you guys. Okay, the challenge is this: add floating action button and dock it to center of bottom navigation bar. Okay, so this will be like, this is one beautiful thing you can actually do, guys. Okay, so I'm not going to show you how you could search this in Google, how you could actually do it. I'm not going to show that, because by reading this statement you have to understand what exactly I mean. So floating action button, you know that floating action button will come here. Dock it means, like when you are actually uh, inserting a pen drive into your CPU, like computer, you are actually docking it. Okay, center of the bottom navigation bar, so center will be this place. So how to add it? So you have 3 icons. So like, can I, if I'm adding it over here, this icon will go somewhere. Probably you need to have 4 icons. Those kind of things you will actually explore and do it. And trust me, this exam, if you are able to do this will give immense satisfaction to you guys. Okay, so now we have finished these 2 topics. Shall we do dialogues today or tomorrow? tomorrow, sir. Okay. So today you explore this, take this challenge and come back. Tomorrow we'll look at these dialogues. Okay. See, the reason why I'm postponing this dialogues concepts is like when you click some button, it actually have to show something, right? Which means that you are trying to get something that's not on the screen till this point. Even though this is actually showing, this is also something like dialogue only, but maybe the whole concept at back end may be related dialogue. Okay. In case of dialogue, we actually have to use some helper function. Okay, that's why I'm postponing it. Anyways, that's there in the exam which I have shared. Okay, so over here. So I'm going to upload this, like everything is available over here. And if you see, I have added bottom navigation bar to some separate file. So in order to help you with modular code. Okay. So guys, like what you can do is, if you're trying more examples, right? Try to add more files over here, and then like try to push that into the code base so that we'll have more examples available over there, so everyone else can share their code there also. Like just pull it. So once if you push it there, what will happen is your name will appear over here. Okay, so contributors. So go to github.com and then register. Since you have already downloaded this project, like you'll be able to push it. It will be slightly tricky, guys, so that is something you could try yourself. Remember that you're not going to become a developer without learning about GitHub. Okay, there is no way you're going to become a developer. Okay, so in your colleges they will help you to become an individual developer only, but not completely also. But GitHub is something which you should learn. Okay, we will try to, like, whatever I know I will try to show you, but code contributions and all these things you guys have to explore. Okay, so we'll stop this class now, and then one more thing, after dialogues we'll actually look at Adobe XD. Okay, and one more thing, guys, I have added couple of this stuff into the, like, couple of questions. Shall I go ahead and answer these questions to you guys? Okay, like it will take 5 minutes probably. So let me do it. So what is meant by boilerplate code? Okay, so you might have heard this boilerplate code or might not have heard at all. Okay, so boilerplate code means when you are actually writing a program. So I'm just typing this ST, right, and it's showing me some suggestions. If I go with, for example, animation controller, you can see some lot of code is added. Okay, if I can just give the app name, you can see that in multiple places it is actually populating. Okay, so that is the feature of Visual Studio Code. But this code population thing, okay, it is actually giving lot of code which we don't know anything about. Okay, what is this init? We don't know. What is this dispose? We don't know. What is this build method? We don't know. Okay, so, and this is common across multiple apps. Okay, like any app you design, you need this type of code. Any app you need, you are going to write stateless widget, and it actually generates some code. Void main is common. Void main is common for all the Flutter apps. Okay, import statements. Okay, import statements. Okay, all these things are common. Whatever code that is common across most of the apps, okay, that is called boilerplate code. Okay, if for example this is a boilerplate code, you can actually take this, instead of typing every time, you can actually create a new file and place it like boilerplate code, and then use it whenever you are actually doing it. See, that is the terminology, like it is a terminology used in programming languages, boilerplate code. Okay, so automatic, like auto generated code or by default code, like which you cannot remove it, such kind of code is called boilerplate code. Okay, and then the next thing is like checking accidental changes with Flutter SDK. Okay, for example, you changed something in your Flutter SDK, or you are upgrading your Flutter and it is saying that like something is changed, like it is failing actually, but the error message looks like these files are not matching the code base, something like that. Or few days back we have, like yesterday, right, yesterday we have added some required parameters. So how to track those changes is you can actually go to source, Flutter, and then right click over here and go with open with code. This option, if it is not appearing while installing, you have to select this option. Okay, I'll just go here and then I can see there is lot of code. Okay, and you can see that source control option over here. If you go here, it will actually show some changes, whatever changes you are doing there. And just imagine, so this is the app, right? So if I go here, go to definition, and I typed something, okay, and then I am saving it. Accidentally I saved it. I don't know that what is the previous state of this file. What I can do is I can go here, go to that code and see what has changed. If when I clicked it here, it showed me this part is changed. Okay, so errors, see this green part is changed. What I could do is I can just use discard changes and then discard. So now I rolled back the file to the previous state. Now everything is gone here. Okay, this is file, part of file syncing. When you change some file somewhere, it has changed here also. Okay, but necessarily it might not change in other editors also, so be careful. So that's how you actually remove any accidental changes. Okay, or you can actually review what changes you have made and what, like instead of just discarding, like just take a backup of it and then actually do it if you want to contribute to Google. Okay, Google like Flutter SDK. So that's how you do it. Okay, so I think that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much. Okay, looking forward you guys to do the challenge. Okay, thank you so much.